Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Wisconsin.
Some beautiful spring weather in Chicago today. Temperature expected to get into the 70s. Beautiful day for baseball. Middle game of this three-game weekend series, the Milwaukee Brewers and the Chicago Cubs. Saw some really good pitching yesterday. Could see more of the same today. Mike Byers trying to get on track this season, but as you can see, he has fared very well against the Cubs, including a 14 strikeout performance here at Wrigley Field last season. Byers and Jake Arrieta, your matchup on the mound here this afternoon. And good afternoon from Wrigley Field. Alongside Bill Schroeder, I'm Matt LePay. Sophia Minert is our reporter. Well, today, Rock, the Brewers obviously trying to get back on track. I know we've been saying that a lot, but maybe they're getting some more of those star power players back today, marking the return of Carlos Gomez.
Yeah, if the Brewers hope to get out of this month-long funk that they've been in, they got to get back to full strength, and this is the beginning of it. 3 guys on the disabled list certainly did not help their efforts in trying to get things back together. Carlos Gomez missed 15 games on the disabled list. They certainly miss what he does on the field, but I think, Matt, more importantly, miss what he provides off the field, on the sidelines, in batting practice, in the clubhouse, and in the dugout. You can already see the effect of that already today here at Wrigley Field. He was one of the first guys out of the dugout today before batting practice. He said he couldn't sleep. So excited to get back in the lineup, and certainly they're hoping that he's going to be able to get back to form. We can see what he's been able to do. You know, since 2012, only Mike Trout has better numbers, 50 or more home runs, 50 or more stolen bases. So this is the guy that they need to get going.
Yeah, that's some serious company that Carlos Gomez is a part of, and the Brewers welcome Gomez back to the lineup with open arms. And as Rock mentioned, and I think you can imagine if you pay any attention to Brewers baseball, that Carlos Gomez is really, really eager to get back in the lineup today.
I feel great, you know, it's happy to be back, and last night is a bit tough night because I'm so excited to come today and play and help my team, and you know, I don't know, like it's a weird feeling today.
Well, the Brewers will need Carlos Gomez. Hopefully he can run down some balls in center field as well as kickstart this offense. On the flip side, Rock, the Chicago Cubs team, we've talked about all the young players they have, the 25 and under club, you could call it. The youngest of the young, Addison Russell, had a big moment yesterday.
Yeah, and all the guys you think about offensively, these young players for the Cubs, Addison Russell, the number 9 hitter, the pitcher hits in the number 8 spot. He's the guy that provided the only run in the game. It was a 4th inning leadoff home run. One of the many full count pitches that Willie Peralta had in yesterday's ball game. You know, so Russell, certainly a guy you not think of with the big home run power, his first of the season, and that's all it took for the Cubs to get a victory in yesterday's game.
Well, Willie Peralta did pitch well. Unfortunately, Russell made him pay for that mistake, but Peralta did have some help from his defense. Now, the Cubs are an aggressive team. They'll take an extra base. They're second in the National League in stolen bases, but yesterday, Rock, when the Cubs tried to run, the Brewers were there for them.
Yeah, and again, I mean, had it not been for a couple of those good defensive plays yesterday, it could have been a lot worse for Peralta and the Brewers, and the Brewers outfield doing a heck of a job. Look at Matt Gerardo Parra barehanding one in the outfield, able to cut down a base runner, trying to get to third base. And look at the throw by Maldonado. Eliminating guys in scoring position. The Cubs made 3 outs on the bases. You see the double play now. Ryan Braun throwing a strike over to third base for another out on the bases. So the Brewers defense, which has been very shaky to start the season, very impressive yesterday.
All right, as we get ready for this middle game of the series, the Brewers still trying to get things going offensively. Just 4 hits yesterday, trying to solve the problem. When we continue, Sophia Minert catches up with hitting coach Darnell Coles as we get you ready for Brewers baseball. The Brewers and the Cubs from Wrigley Field in Chicago. Stay with us. We're ready to get started right here on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
at Wrigley Field in Chicago. The Brewers looking to even the series with the Cubs after falling 1-0 to John Lester and the Cubs yesterday. After a slow start to the season offensively, Darnell Coles and Ron Renneke have used 22 different lineups in 23 different games, looking to get the bats going for the Brewers. Darnell Coles spoke with me earlier today about the offense's first month and also the adjustments the guys have made to get the offense back on track here in May.
I think it's more mental than anything. Physicality of it is that you come in, you get your work, you study, you look at things that the pitcher's trying to do to you or have done to you in the past, and you try and figure out ways to combat that. And I think we're doing that, as well as the players are doing that. So I think that we're in a real good place. But I think ultimately taking it into the game and getting a good pitch to hit, especially with runners in scoring position, has been a struggle. But I think ultimately, like we talked about in spring training, and we keep stressing, is if you swing at pitches on the edges, they're going to keep throwing pitches on the edges. You got to take those close pitches with the hope that you can get in some good counts so that you can get good pitches. But so long as you're swinging at them, they're going to keep throwing them, and we just got to find a way to keep from doing that so that it allows us to be in better position to be successful.
The Brewers are hitting .224 with 15 home runs through the first month of the season, but they will get a big bat today with Carlos Gomez reactivated from the disabled list. He will go back to the leadoff spot and look to set the table for the rest of the Brewers lineup. So coming up, can Mike Fiers shut down the Cubbies like he did a year ago here at Wrigley Field, striking out 14 Cubs? Craig Bouchon and Jerry Augustine will take a look at Mike Fiers and his start today, coming up next on Brewers Live.
Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. And by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time.
Mike Fiers getting his warm-ups in as he is set to take the mound today. Just 4 innings in his last start against the St. Louis Cardinals. He has no quality starts yet. Opponent batting average at .358. Still looking for his first win. Ron Renneke was asked before the game if Fiers is making progress with each start this year.
He's been off and on, so it's not like we're getting better every outing. He's he'll be really good for some batters, and then all of a sudden we'll see him lose his command. So it's just getting consistent, getting confident, and seeing, you know, similar to what we've seen in years past where he's been really good.
Craig and Augie back with you here on Fox Sports Wisconsin, talking Mike Fiers getting the start today here for Milwaukee. The inconsistency, probably with him, it stands out even more so. But let's face it, almost every starter has had their inconsistencies so far this year.
Yeah, there's no question about it. It's all being able to get to that comfort zone. And with Mike Fiers, it's about commanding that off-speed stuff, getting ahead of hitters, staying ahead of hitters. And when he does that, he can use his fastball to all zones. His strikeouts, he gets a lot of them up in the zone. It's because he locates all his other pitches. Hopefully today he'll get it started.
Well, I'll tell you what, he was in the zone and commanding everything his last time at Wrigley Field. Take you back to August of 2014, and a 6-inning affair for Mike Fiers, striking out 14 in historic fashion. What a performance that was.
Yeah, and that day he was commanding everything. He had that good breaker ball and changeup, commanding a fastball, getting a lot of strikeouts up in the zone. You look at what he did in 2014, 10 starts, 8 quality. That's what they need out of Mike Fiers.
Look at that game, though. 14 strikeouts, only 1 walk for Fiers, just 3 hits. And if he can come even close to getting something like that done, of course, it's a different hitting ball team right now as far as the Cubs are concerned.
Yeah, there's no question about it. He's just got to keep the ball in the strike zone, get ahead of hitters, and that's going to be so important.
Well, you know, it was shortly after Mike Fiers had that big performance here at Wrigley. He had the nightmare throw that hit Giancarlo Stanton back at Miller Park. Clearing that hurdle, getting over that, and moving on. Mike Fiers addressed that topic with us.
It's always, you know, in my mind, and it's always there. It's something that happened, and I can't go back and change it, or it happened for a reason. I feel like a lot of things happen in life for a reason, but he actually helped me. Stan actually helped me get over it a little bit better as well. With him, he texted me and told me, hey, it's part of the game. Obviously we know it wasn't on purpose, this and that. And I think he helped me out a lot with that process to getting ready for my next start. Which he told me, he said, hey man, you can't think about this. You gotta get ready for your next start. You gotta pitch for your team. And so I think that helped me out a lot. And just to show the the professionalism that he has, and I had to put it away pretty quick because my team needed me to put up quality starts for the rest of September, and we still had a chance of making the playoffs. And there's a lot of bad with that, but also a lot of people that supported me and were behind me and helped me get through that situation so that I could be successful after that incident.
Always a scary situation and a nightmare for pitchers, though, Augie. Is it tougher to overcome that if you injure somebody on a more permanent basis? Stanton obviously able to bounce back.
Well, you do feel bad, but the one thing about this situation, there's so much professionalism, both by Michael Fiers and Stanton. They both communicated, they understand it's part of the game, and they also understand that you have to move on. And I tell you, that's what the thing happened. Baseball's a game that you're going to have those things happen, but you have to have the ability to move on. Both these guys moved on rather well.
All right, back to today's game. Jake Arrieta on the hill for the Chicago Cubs, and he's had the opposite start that Mike Fiers has had. He is 3-1 with an ERA just over 2.
Well, this guy wants to make a name for himself. He's had 4 starts, 4 quality starts. This is a workhorse. He's got a great fastball with explosive movement on the end. This is a guy that's going to come right after you. He makes no bones about it. He wants to be that guy with the Cubs, and he's out there proving it so far.
Well, John Lester stymied the Brewer bats yesterday, shutting them down. The Cubs win Game 1, 1-0 was the final yesterday. So the Brewers need some offense. They get Carlos Gomez back today. Let's see if that propels them. Matt Rock standing by. Wrigley Field, sun splash today, wind blowing out. Let's get that Brewer offense going.
Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Book your stay now. A gorgeous day in Chicago, 71 degrees, bright sunshine, and the wind is kicking out, so we could see some long fly balls today. Ron Renicky would love to see his team get the offense back in gear. Broke through Wednesday afternoon at Cincinnati, but a shutout loss yesterday to John Lester and the Chicago Cubs. Here's today's Brewers batting order, presented by Potawatomi. Carlos Gomez finally back in the lineup at the top of the order. Gene Segura, Ryan Braun rounding out the top three. Adam Lynn, Chris Davis, Elian Herrera in the middle. Martin Maldonado, Hector Gomez, and Mike Fiers rounding out the order. Facing a very, very good Cubs pitcher, off to a terrific start, Jake Arrieta.
And had a pretty good year last year, 10-5 with the Cubs and a .253 earned run average in 25 starts. 2-2 career against the Brewers in start number 6 here today.
Carlos Gomez attacking the first pitch in his return from the disabled list, and one pitch, one out as Addison Russell will handle the pop-up.
Well, let's check out the Cubs as they line up defensively. Brought to you by Menards today. Kristen Orphy gets a start in left. Dexter Fowler in center. Jorge Soler in right. Bryant, Castro, Russell, and Rizzo, the same infield as yesterday, but Miguel Montero, the former Diamondback, behind home plate.
Here's Gene Segura with Gomez back in the fold. Segura moves from the top of the order to the 2 spot. Comes in with a .270 average. As you see, the Brewers yesterday managed only 4 hits. And some excellent pitching from John Lester. Bullpen help from Pedro Strop and Hector Rondon. In fact, the Brewers at one point had 15 hitters consecutively retired until they were 2 outs in the 9th inning. Jason Rogers kept the Brewers alive, or tried to, with a double. And then Adam Lynn grounded out on a broken bat roller to short, and that was that. The Cubs win the pitching duel 1-0.
Yeah, the 2 guys with the 4 hits not in today's lineup. So yeah. Ron Renicky with Gomez back in the lineup. Parr sits this one out.
Yeah, Gerardo Parra had a single to left and a bunt single in the game, and a single and a double for Jason Rogers. But certainly options off the bench today if needed. Some, especially in the form of Rogers, who it just seems far more often than not, he makes very good contact when he's at the plate. There's the 1-2 to Segura. And a mid-90s fastball misses.
Yeah, he's got good stuff. I mean, he works both sides of the plate very well. 95 on the fastball. He can touch 96. He's got a cutter, a changeup, and a curveball. So he's got 4 pitches that he's really not afraid to throw at any time.
Coming off a good year last year, a very good year, a .253 earned run average. He missed the first month of the season with a shoulder issue, but when he was back into the fold, he put together a very good year for the Cubs, winning 10 times and 15 decisions. Segura back up the middle and knocked down by Russell, but that will dribble into center field, and Gene Segura with the day's first hit.
Now Segura breaking an 0-for streak, and certainly the Brewers offense needs everything to be working very well at this point. Hits have been hard to come by, let alone runs. Fastball up and in. Segura pulls the hands in, and he's got a base hit. Good effort by Addison Russell, not able to come up with it.
Segura went through an 0-for-13, but that base hit snaps that skid, and hopefully this started something good for the Brewers shortstop. Here's Ryan Braun. A .240 average for Braun going into today's game. And there's a drive back to center field, and the Brewers take a 2-0 lead. Braun crushes one, his 5th of the year.
He was waiting for that fastball, and that's what you have to do against Russell, or I should say Jake Arrieta. He's going to give you a fastball to hit early in the count. He likes to work ahead, and Ryan Braun, a first pitch heater right down the middle at 94 miles an hour, knocks it out of here to center field. Splits home plate right in half. Look at Braun, barrels it up. I'm guessing that's not going to be the only home run today. The wind's blowing out here at Wrigley.
We may see a couple. Powerball home run count number 5 for Ryan Braun. And the first against a team not named the Cincinnati Reds.
Boy, how bad did the Brewers need that? They work from ahead. Take a little pressure off of Fires when he gets out on the mound.
Yeah, that wind blowing out towards center. We could see some runs on the board and some fly balls that Wrigley Field will not be able to hold. Adam Lind 4 for 11 in his career against Jake Arrieta.
Man, including a home run.
There's 4 homers, 13 RBIs heading into this game this afternoon. Gorgeous day here in Chicago. Arrieta coming over to the Cubs in an early June trade back in 2013. Came over from Baltimore along with Pedro Strop. And a walk for Adam Lind.
Well, his last start for Arrieta against Cincinnati, retired the first 11 that he faced early in the ball game. Much different here today. He had 3 consecutive base runners, including a home run after Gomez popped out. Arrieta's won 2 in a row, including his last start against the Reds.
Yeah, last year he flirted with no-hitters multiple times. Talking about Jake Arrieta as he gets ready to face Chris Davis. Well, the Brewers get a 2-run homer from Ryan Braun here in the first inning. Jake Arrieta entering the game with a 2.03 earned run average. Nothing but quality starts. But the Brewers jump on him here in inning number 1. See how good he was a year ago on a struggling Cubs team, and off to the terrific start this season.
There's that cut fastball that sometimes looks a little bit more like a slider. That was a true cutter that time. He's got movement on his fastball. He'll throw a 2-seamer, the cutter, 4-seamer. That's the pitch that Braun hit out of the ballpark. You're going to see a lot of those 2 different pitches today.
The 1-1 coming to Davis. Mentioned Arrieta last year. Had a couple of games against the Reds where he was messing around with the no-hitter. Retired the first 18 in a game against Cincinnati in June, and then in the middle of September he tossed a complete game 1-hitter. Only Brandon Phillips stood in the way of a no-no for Arrieta. A 2-out 8th inning double. He's on. He is extremely difficult to score on, but the Brewers have touched him up here in the first inning. Catching the crowd. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Davis.
You got to figure this Brewers offense is due to have a breakout game at some point. Looked like they were on their way on Wednesday against the Reds. 5 runs late in that ball game.
And then yesterday in the opener, a whole lot of pitching. You mentioned Lester, but Willie Peralta was pretty good. 6 innings, gave up just the 1 run, the homer to Addison Russell. Some excellent defensive work on the part of the Brewers. Parra and Braun throwing out Cubs, trying to take an extra base.
Man, Brewers have tightened it up defensively on this road trip.
Trying to get the bats going with some degree of consistency here. Maybe today's the day they can bust out of it. Davis strikes out swinging, and there's out number 2 in the first.
Yeah, the cut fastball. He throws it a couple of different speeds. He'll throw a little bit harder and it won't break as much. That one had more of a slider break. You're going to see a lot of fastballs and pitches like this to right-handers. That looked like a foul tip.
Into the mitt of Miguel Montero. Here's Elian Herrera. He gets the start at second today. Came on as a pinch hitter yesterday in the 8th inning. Scooter Gennett in his rehab assignment started last night for the Timber Rattlers. Had a hit in 3 trips.
Yeah, he's due to come off the disabled list on Tuesday.
So the Brewers getting closer and closer to getting back to, let's say, full strength. At least the starters from opening day, 3 of whom have been missing for a while. But Gomez is back today.
Everybody realizes that the Brewers were not playing very well, even with the 3 guys in the lineup, Lucroy, Gennett, and Gomez. But it didn't really help their cause to try and get back to normal and play good baseball without them.
Well, you figure those guys, and especially Gennett is in a position where he's an everyday player, or looking to be an everyday player now this year after the platoon last year. But guys like Gomez and Lucroy, they've been around. They know how to get through the tough stretches. And again, as Rock said, they're not using it as an excuse, but those are all stars we're talking about. There's a fly ball that D'Onofrio runs down right along the left field line. But a good start for the Brewers. Ryan Braun gets the crew on the board with his 2-run blast to center, as they get to Jake Arrieta right away. Middle of the first, 2-0, the Brew Crew. Cubs getting their first crack today at Mike Fiers as Joe Madden has his team off to a very good start. Best start in 8 years, as a matter of fact, for the Cubs. For 7 years anyway for the Cubs. Here's the Cubs batting order presented by Potawatomi. Jorge Soler at the top of the order here today. Dexter Fowler moves down to the 2 slot. Anthony Rizzo hits 3rd. Chris Bryant cleanup, followed by Miguel Montero, Starling Castro, Chris D'Onofrio playing left field today. Jake Arrieta bats 8th, and Addison Russell rounds out the lineup. Mike Fiers a starting call now for the Crew.
Yeah, 5th start, looking for his first win of the year. Pitched pretty well his last time out against the Cardinals. A Brewers victory, 6-3 victory. Fiers went 4 innings. They were men on base just about every inning that he was out there. The Cardinals stranded 8, but he only allowed 2 runs, 1 earned run.
It's an interesting lineup shuffle here for the Cubs. Soler, who has struck out 35 times this season, more than anyone in the National League, but he moves up a slot in the order. Just trying to get him going a little bit.
Yeah, shake it up, take him out of his comfort level. We saw Ron Renicky do that with Ryan Braun. Had him in a leadoff spot last week. Try to shake it up a little bit. Joe Madden's known to do that from time to time.
And when Braun was at the top of the order, he had to think back, and everybody had to look back toward his final days in AAA. Soler, one of those young players that this Cubs organization, and justifiably so, is very high on. He's hit a couple of home runs this season. And one of those who's going to be around for a long time in this Cubs organization. Came up the latter stages of 2014 and made the most of his 24 games he was with the big club. 5 homers and drove in 20.
Yeah, Brewers saw him in his series late in the season. He's got some incredible power and even the right center.
A bouncing ball foul. We'll see how Fiers handles today's matchup. In his last outing against the Cardinals, he went 4+, and time and again was able to work out of jams. That was a game where the Cardinals stranded 14 runners. But after Mark Reynolds homered in the 5th, Ron Renneke went ahead and made the change. Fiers was not particularly sharp, but he was able to work out of a lot of trouble. And Soler works Fiers for a walk to begin the bottom of the 1st.
Well, let's check out Ron Renneke's Brewers defense. Defense very good in yesterday's ball game. Davis, Gomez, and Braun. Good to have Gogo back in center field. Got Hector Gomez at third, Segura, Herrera, and Lynn around the horn, and Maldonado behind home plate. And Carlos missed 15 games on a disabled list.
Yeah, good to have him back. All right, as you mentioned, the numbers everybody can see, but it's that constant energy in the clubhouse, around the batting cage, the smile. Good to have that bounce out there. Not to mention a Gold Glover and a guy who makes all-star teams.
Yeah, adds a lot. You're right.
At least one Carlos Gomez fan in the stand. You know there are more than one. Brewer fans making a trip down to Chicago for the weekend.
A lot of Chris Bryant jerseys in the stands. You walk around here at Wrigley, and he hadn't been up here that long, but there's a ton of Bryant jerseys worn by these Cub fans.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a day he has been with the big club. Dexter Fowler with the Astros a year ago, 6 years previous with the Rockies. Cubs, by the way, are now 2nd in the National League in stolen bases. The Reds passed him last night, but this is an aggressive Cubs team.
Yeah, Soler, he's got some pretty good speed. Dexter Fowler can fly. But the equalizer's behind home plate, Martin Maldonado.
Big swing and a miss from Fowler. And Maldonado threw out Anthony Rizzo yesterday trying to steal. A strike him out, throw him out double play that into the 1st inning. The first 3 Cubs reached yesterday, but the Brewers were able to get out of the inning unscathed. The only run an Addison Russell homer. 2-2 to Fowler.
And the Cubs made 2 outs on the bases in that 1st inning. 1 at 3rd, 1 at 2nd.
Yeah, Gerardo Parra throwing out Fowler, trying to go 1st to 3rd, and Starlin Castro found a similar fate in the 6th inning. It was Ryan Braun who got it. A lot of full counts from Brewers pitchers yesterday, and more of the same today. There's a strikeout and then a snap throw down the 1st, so they're able to get back out number 1.
Changeup on a full count. Well, a lot of full counts yesterday with Willie Peralta on the mound. And Mike Fiers back-to-back full counts, I think it was. I think Soler had a full count. There it is. Nice pitch, some late movement going off the outside corner. Maldonado loves to do this. You get too much of a secondary lead, he'll try and pick you off.
And you're right, it's been back-to-back full counts after, it was 11 or 12 yesterday. 11 full counts yesterday from Brewers pitchers. Anthony Rizzo. Only Matt Holliday has a better on-base percentage than Rizzo. As we turn the calendar now from April to May.
Yeah, 479, not too bad.
No, that'll cause some headaches for opposing pitchers and opposing managers. And he has 5 for 7 in his at-bats against Fiers, and that includes a home run. This is a Cubs team that we saw yesterday was attacking early, but it will be a patient group if you look big picture. Up and down this order, with perhaps an exception or two, but these are guys who aren't afraid to grind out at bats,
which is unusual for a young team. Young players typically like to go up there and hack. They do have some guys that will do that, but for the most part, they wait for their pitch.
And Joe Madden in implementing his style, and it seems to be taking hold effectively here through the first month of the season. 3-0 the count, and that's a 4-pitch walk. So a couple of walks here in the bottom of the first, and the Cubs have a threat going. Well, on a day where the ball's going to have some carry, you don't want to help the other guys out with walks, but that has been the case here as both Soler and Rizzo reach. And now Chris Bryant.
And the wind blowing out. Mike Fiers is a fly ball pitcher. We'll see if he's able to make some adjustments to get a few more ground balls today.
People around here are talking about how ironic it is that Bryant, given the power on his resume through the minor leagues, but it's Addison Russell who hits the home run as a big leaguer before Bryant. He debuted 2 weeks ago yesterday, did Bryant.
Yeah, Russell leads right now in home runs with Bryant. I don't expect that to last too long.
Suppose he'd take a snapshot at those statistics if you're Addison Russell.
He's got bragging rights right now, but he better take advantage of it when he can.
Bryant in the minors last year homered 43 times between AA and AAA. Had a huge spring and a good start in AAA ball before being called up, but he takes a called third strike.
Yeah, not sure what he was looking for right there. That one had plenty of the plate outer half. Fiers has thrown an awful lot of fastballs so far in his first inning. We saw the strikeout to Fowler on the changeup, but check this out. Not sure what he's looking for. He hasn't thrown a curveball yet.
Fiers with 2 walks and 2 strikeouts in the first inning. Here's Miguel Montero, who for the last 9 years was an Arizona Diamondback, 2-time All-Star. Throw back to second, and Soler getting back.
Good quick feet by Mike Fiers. Segura with the daylight play sneaks in behind him.
Fiers on Sunday, as we mentioned, worked out of trouble. Cardinals, the first 3 innings, stranded 8. Left them loaded in back-to-back innings. Montero coming over in a trade with the Diamondbacks last December, and is down a strike to Fiers.
Yeah, Wellington Castillo was doing a lot of catching for the Cubs over the last couple of years, but they've got David Ross, who caught yesterday with Lester on the mound, Montero, and right now Wellington Castillo is kind of a player without a position. He's not going to catch too much in an emergency maybe, but play some first base and do some pinch hitting. There's David Ross, yesterday's catcher.
Yeah, Castillo limited at bats, only 25. He's appeared in 12 games. A veteran like Montero and Ross, it's a tough spot for a guy like Castillo to get time, and the wonder is what's going to happen long term here. This is a Cubs team that a lot of people think can still be a player, can still be a buyer. No, it's early. They're off to a very good start at 13-8. But this is a club that is Try to accelerate, excuse me, getting back into the mix. Montero is swing and a miss, and Mike Fiers walks 2. He fans 3, getting out of trouble. Brewers with the early 2-0 lead.
Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Ryan Braun gives the Brewers a 2-0 lead with a 2-run shot here in the first. And talking with hitting coach Darnell Coles before today's game about the adjustments his lineup needs to make to get better here in the month of May. He said right now it's the mental approach is more important than the physical right now. He said in April all the guys have been doing all the physical work, doing all of their work in the cage, grinding it out, studying, watching film, studying tendencies of pitchers and also their at-bats. And he said right now it's just about combating adjustments. He said certainly we've seen good pitching throughout the first month of the season, but there's no excuses there. He said we've struggled with runners in scoring position, so we're trying to improve upon that. And he said, you know, from spring training, they have preached about swinging at pitches at the edge of the strike zone. He said, as long as you guys keep swinging at those, they're going to keep throwing them. So it's a matter of taking the close pitchers and getting into good hitters' counts. Those are the things that Coles is stressing with his lineup right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing that happens when you're pressing and you're trying too hard to get something going. You're going to be swinging out of the strike zone. You're going to be jumping at the baseball, not putting on your best swing. Everybody's trying to do too much. And sometimes you can think too much in this game. I mean, not just baseball, anything, right? You outthink yourself.
It's hard enough to play, right, when you're feeling good.
Yeah, and confident.
Arrieta, the latest in a line of very good pitchers the Brewers are up against. We'll see Jason Hamill tomorrow, and then when the homestand starts on Monday, they draw Clayton Kershaw and Zach Greinke. So not a lot of breathers, at least on paper. Maldonado, little pop to shallow center, and that's going to fall, a base hit.
And Brewers would do a few of those. And this time Maldonado gets one to fall out of the reach of Russell and Fowler out there. So Arrieta, 3 hits now allowed. And as we mentioned, he usually gets off to a pretty good start. He retired the first 11 batters that he faced to start the game against the Reds. Maldi got jammed, but able to dump it into center.
Hector Gomez playing a third today. Ramos Ramirez getting another day at a little hamstring issue. Tweaked it on Tuesday. They're going to keep him out of the lineup this afternoon and maybe get him back in there tomorrow for the series and road trip finale. So the second start at third for Gomez this season.
Man, it's kind of a shame because Ramirez is starting to swing the bat pretty well. Was swinging the bat pretty well in Cincinnati. Then he came up with that hamstring injury at the end of the game on Wednesday.
Yeah, they just don't want to push it here as badly as they need the veteran in the lineup. And as Rock said, he's starting to swing the bat a little bit. They just don't want to push it if they think they can buy another day. Gomez out on strikes, and there's the first out of the inning.
Ramirez had some hamstring issues last year, if you remember.
He did.
Early in the year, had to miss some time, and given his age, and you don't want to push it. He's got a little bit of a strain right now, but that can turn into a pull very quickly if you rush him out there too soon.
It was about this time of the year when he started dealing with that. There's Mike Fiers as you look at Ramirez. Fiers at the plate. Maldonado the runner at first. See what Mike has done this season. Trying to move the runner up a base and get to the top of the order. And there's the bunt. Arrieta, no play at second. And the sacrifice is complete. Hector make that Maldonado to second. 2 men out.
And now you get the top of the order up with a man in scoring position. Good bunt by Fiers. That's all you expect out of your pitcher. Advance a base runner.
At the plate, the center fielder, Carlos Gomez.
He gets that bat out in front, deadens it just enough that Arrieta can only make a play at first base.
Here's Gomez, went after the first pitch. Popped out to begin the game. So you know he's back, taking those good hard cuts, huh?
He don't mess around. Yeah, some guys come off the disabled list, 15 games they missed, and they take a few pitches, take a look, but not Goma, not Go-Go.
No easing back into it with Carlos Gomez. Maldonado, the runner at second. And there's a bloop right field, and it's going to drop. Diving attempt, but it drops. And Maldonado will score, and a couple of Cubs are shaken up. A collision going for the ball as both Rizzo and Addison Russell are slow to get up.
Just out of the reach of both of them. Both of them had to go after it. Nobody really had an opportunity to call it, and he was able to pick up a base hit with 2 outs to score a run. Brewers did not hit the ball, have not hit the ball all that hard in this inning, but they've got a run on the board.
Well, Maldonado blooped one to center, and now Gomez just beyond the reach and right.
See what they do. They crash into each other. They don't go head to head. But look at Russell. I mean, he lands head first on the grass. Russell's shoulder goes into the chest of Rizzo. And you hope they're all right. That could have turned out a lot worse, particularly for Russell, who landed on his head.
Yeah, he rolled over on it. A little bit of an awkward fashion there, too, as the athletic trainer's taking a look. And it looks as though both will be able to continue. Carlos Gomez giving him a little round of applause. So Gomez with the single. It brings around Maldonado, and the Brewers grab a 3-0 lead.
A couple of jam shots are able to find the outfield grass, and the Brewers able to scratch out a run.
At the plate, the shortstop, Gene Segura.
Well, the 3 runs already marks the most that Arrieta has allowed in any start. Gave up 3 in his only loss through the first 4 outings. That was to the Reds, a 3-2 game where he worked 6 2/3. Gene Segura. He singled, set up Ryan Braun for the 2-run blast. Get the Brewers on the board. Gomez on the run. Pitch is taken. Throw down to second, and Gomez has it easily. Big time jump and no chance for Montero.
Yeah, good to see that. Coming off the disabled list with a hamstring injury. He's at full strength and steals that one easily. A big lead, a good jump, head straight down, looks in to see where the baseball is. And no contest at second base. Look at Montero up from his knees.
It's the 5th steal for the Brewers as a team, and as you see, the first for Carlos this year. 1-0 to Segura. One of those things Gomez can give you, the aggressive nature.
Already making an impact, right?
Not wasting much time at all in that category. Good start for Milwaukee this afternoon. Cubs get a 1-0 shutout yesterday, but the Brewers already with 3 on the board today. Ron Renicky and company, Jerry Naron, trying to find a way. That lineup has shifted, has changed daily here throughout the course of the first almost full month of this season. Gomez again running, pitch is taken, throw to third, not in time. Well, Gomez,
kind of a risky proposition right there. He's already in scoring position, and Montero nearly got him at third base, but he's in there.
It's one of those you better be sure, right?
Yeah, you better make it. Gomez, not a great jump, but he just outruns this play and able to get it just in front of the tag.
Segura, ground ball to short. It gets through Castro. Gomez is in, make it 4-0 Milwaukee.
Well, had Gomez been at second base, Castro probably would have been more up the middle and would have been able to make that play. So, yeah, I guess that stolen base did make a difference. And Castro was more in a normal spot at short. And because of that, not able to come up with it. So credit Carlos Gomez with a hustle run. And check out where Castro starts out. Had Gomez been at second, he would have been more up the middle to try and hold him close. There you go. I think even if he catches that baseball, he's not going to have a play.
No, you're right.
It's going to be a hit.
So the Brewers get the running game going. Segura picks up Gomez. And now Ryan Braun, a 2-run homer in the first. Well, the Brewers aggressive, and you know the pitch. We always say this, or feel like we should, when you talk about caught stealing statistics, but the only Cubs catcher to throw out a steal attempt is Ross. He's 1 for 10. Montero 0 for 9. And now Segura's going. Pitch is taken. Here's the throw. And how about the running Brewers here today?
Yeah, that was a pretty good throw by Montero. Well, Joe Madden, I would imagine, is going to ask his replay crew about that one. That was pretty close at second base. Not messing around at all. The Brewers running at will on Jake Arrieta. Can't blame Montero for that one. Well, pretty close, but it looks like he's in there. Well, you can't blame Montero for that steal of third base by Gomez or that last steal by Segura.
Right. So Segura at second. And a 1-1 count to Ryan Braun. Segura dancing well off the bag. Braun shoots one foul. Brewers with 2 in the first on the Braun 2-run homer and 2 more runs here in the second. Top 3 in the order for the Crew, off to a great start, 4 for 5.
It sets up nicely when they get on. Gomez, Segura, all the speed that they provide. And you know that's what Ron Renicky had in mind to start the season, but you got to get on base first.
And they have been able to do that through these first couple of innings. Tough day for Brawny yesterday. Struck out a couple of times. Took a called third strike in the 9th inning that Foxtrax showed was there right on the edge. Ryan thought it may have been away. The Brewers went a good chunk of that game without having a runner reach. 15 straight were set down. And Braun with another drive deep to left field. And that will be caught at the track by D'Onofrio. So a 2-run shot of the first and allowed out to left here in the second from Braun. But the Brewers get the early jump in Chicago. Mike Fiers worth another look, presented by Columbia St. Mary's, as he gave up a couple of walks, but he strikes out Haller, Bryant, and Montero to get through the first inning.
There's something about Wrigley Field for Mike Fiers, huh?
He is 2-0 in this ballpark.
He's given up 1 earned run in 14 in the 3rd innings, and he had a 14 strikeout game last year and only 6 innings of work.
Yeah, how about that? August 14th, gave up just 3 hits. As Rock said, 14 punch-outs. Back to another game he had as Starlin Castro leads off this 2nd inning. Go back to 2012. Pitched 7 1/3. Gave up just a run. This is popped up in foul territory, and that's Hector Gomez for the first out of the inning. Yeah, we've talked a lot about Arrieta and how good he's been and the low ERA against the Brewers. Well, Fiers in his career a sub-2 ERA against the Cubs. Here's D'Onofrio. Signed a free agent deal with the Cubbies back in January.
And one of those veterans that the Cubs have mixed in amongst this very young club. And Miguel Montero, you got D'Onofrio, those guys both came in, and Chris Coughlin. Good mix of youth and veterans.
D'Onofrio began the year on the disabled list, had a little hamstring problem. Talked about that with a few players already today. Got off the DL on the 17th of April. It's part of all those deadline deals. It was a crazy end of July. It often can be, but it was really active last year. Moved from the Padres to Seattle. There was all kinds of activity racing up to that deadline.
And Denorf, you're one of those guys you can play anywhere in the outfield. He makes good contact. Not going to hit too many home runs for you, but he'll give you a good at bat. He'll give you what you need in a given at bat.
He had been with the Padres since 2010 as he goes down swinging, and that is very quickly strikeout number 4 for Mike Fiers.
There's just something about that fastball that Fiers throws that really gives these Cubs a lot of problems, particularly in this ballpark.
Here's our Carsoup.com trivia question as we talk about punch-outs. Who are the only 4 Brewers pitchers in franchise history to have 14 strikeouts in a single game? Jake Arrieta. If you missed yesterday's game and you're not all that familiar with the Cubs, Joe Madden has his pitcher hitting 8th in the order. That's how he's done it this year. Is in a given day, well, he's consistent with where the pitcher hits, but he moves that lineup around. Renick's had to do it oftentimes not by choice, but because of injury or just trying anything to get things kick-started. Madden has a little more flexibility, but he's flipped the top of his order today. He has Soler at the top with Fowler hitting 2nd. Arrieta goes down swinging, so Mike Fiers with 5 strikeouts through the first 2 innings. It's 4-0 Milwaukee. Wannabe Hotel and Casino. 4-0 Brewers lead the Cubs moving to the 3rd inning. Hey, vote for your MVP. Help us decide which Fox Sports supports partner will be crowned the winner. The charity with the most votes at the end of the season will score big with a donation from Hupy and Abraham SC. Choose from American Heart Association of Wisconsin, Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Milwaukee, or Fisher House, Wisconsin. To vote, visit foxsportswisconsin.com/supports. Adam Lind leads off the 3rd inning here for the Crew, followed by Chris Davis and Elian Herrera. The Brewers with 2 runs in each of the first 2 innings against Arrieta. He came into this game, Arrieta, through his first 4 starts, having given up a grand total of 6 runs. Sharply hit. That's Addison Russell, gobbles it up. 1 out.
And he's been particularly good here at Wrigley Field. You go back to his last 15 starts before today, he was 8-2. So throwing very well in what is considered to be a pretty good hitter's ballpark.
8-2 with the 1.54 ERA. But the Brewers have been able to jump on him this afternoon. Ryan Braun, a 2-run homer in the first, and Brewers got the running game going in the second. Carlos Gomez with a couple of stolen bases. One more for Gene Segura.
Well, you got to keep adding on. This looks like a day where you might see a few runs being scored and wind blowing out. You never have enough in this old ballpark.
Well, we were talking yesterday about that game back in the late 70s, I believe it was, a 23-22 game with Philadelphia. I don't think we'll see that, but
I hope
never
not.
know.
I hope not. Got dinner reservations tonight at 8.
So do I. What am I laughing about?
Yeah, I thought that'd be safe, right?
Oh-2 pitch.
You never know when you come to the ballpark. I mean, what is the first thing you do when you get out on the field? You look where the wind's blowing, right?
You really
That's the big
do.
thing about this park. Wind blows in, you're going to get a low-scoring game. Wind blowing out, you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, that's what it's doing at the moment. Beautiful day. This Wrigley Field, the old ballpark, with the renovation continuing.
Pretty much best day of the year, right? I mean, as far as the
yes,
the game day, beautiful. It's going to be about 70 degrees today.
We'll have those bleachers in left field up and running soon, and in right field more mid-season. There's a ground ball to Starling Castro, and 2 up, 2 down for the Brewers in the third.
Hey, country star Joe Nichols is performing at Miller Park on Friday, May 29th with the Country Night VIP package. You can watch the Brewers take on the Diamondbacks from the Dew Deck, plus get field access for the post-game concert. For details, visit brewers.com/concerts.
Joe Nichols. Yes, sir. Keep going.
I'm sticking around. It's got some good tunes.
Oh, yeah. Were you always a country fan?
No.
I didn't think so, being an East Coast guy.
Yeah, there are rural areas in New Jersey, if that's what you mean.
There are?
Matter of fact, my cousin has a horse farm.
Is that right?
Just outside of Trenton. I think the exposure to Arizona put me over the edge.
See, I was going to assume your Clemson days, but it was out. Okay, trips to Arizona.
That's more bluegrass.
I got you. I've been educated. 1-2 to Elian Herrera.
Yeah, looking forward to Joe Nichols, though. That's going to be fun.
Oh, be a good show. All kinds of things to look forward to this summer, as we're starting to get some legitimate spring weather now. Let's hope it hangs around a while. But the beauty, when the Brewers get back home, you've got the roof, so you've got it in control one way or the other. 4-game series with the Dodgers starting on Monday night. Arrieta ready with the 2-2.
Yeah, 58 pitches are ready for Arrieta. We're working here in the third inning. Try to get into that bullpen. John Lester gave him some time off yesterday. Good start by Lester. Went 7.
And Pedro Strop and Hector Rondon finish up. Herrera strikes out swinging, and Arrieta for the first time today puts the Brewers down in order. Through 2.5, 4-0 Milwaukee.
today's Tavern, the game winner. Brewers center Tavern in Albany, Wisconsin. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game this year. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Brewer fans well represented here at Wrigley Field as Addison Russell leads off in the third. Further evidence there's a stat for everything. Russell hit his first big league homer yesterday afternoon, and it was the only run of the game. So as the Elias Sports Bureau points out, Addison Russell is 21 years old, 21 years, 98 days. He's the youngest player to hit a homer in a 1-0 game since 1952, September 14th. Eddie Matthews, the Boston Braves. If there's a statistic, somebody will find it.
Yeah, that's reaching deep, isn't it?
It's
impressive. I mean, to be able to come up with something like that.
So might as well use it. There's a chopper to second. That's Herrera. And there's out number one. Fires with 5 strikeouts through the first 2 innings. Otherwise a pop up, and there's the first ground ball out of the day. Soler walked in the first. One of 2 walks given up by Fires in the first inning. Mentioned that game Fires had here last August when he had 14 strikeouts in 6 innings of work. That was a 6-2 Brewers win over the Cubbies. Huge cut from Soler.
Been mostly fastballs for Fires so far today. He did throw a changeup. He's thrown a couple of curveballs, but for the most part, that's the pitch he's been throwing, the fastball. Notice 2 different umpires today at the ballpark.
Yeah,
I mean, that's unusual. In the middle of a series, 2 umpires take off and 2 more come in.
Yeah, those still here. The home plate umpire, Ryan Blakeney, behind the plate. He was here yesterday.
Yeah, Eric Cooper was here.
And he's the crew chief over at first.
And Mark Carlson, Tom Woodring arrived today. Gary Cederstrom and Quinn Wolcott took off.
Soler with a line drive to left. And right there is Chris Davis. 2 men out.
Just unusual, maybe vacation situations are unusual for umpires to take off in mid series.
Right. But that is the case here today. So with 2 men out, base is empty. Dexter Fowler. He was strikeout victim number 1 today for Fires. There's a curve away. Broken bat, ground ball to second. And it's a 1-2-3 inning again for Fires, and we are 3-3 at Wrigley. It's 4-0 Brewers. 4-0 Brewers lead the Cubs. We move to the top of the 4th. Every weekday, gear up for the racing season with NASCAR Race Hub. With the best coverage, biggest names, and the most access. It's the daily show of record for NASCAR Nation. Catch NASCAR Race Hub weeknight, 6 p.m. Eastern, only on Fox Sports 1. Streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Martin Maldonado leads off the top of the 4th for the Brewers. Singled to center and came around to score in a 2-run second for Milwaukee.
That was a good changeup to Fowler. That's the second time he's been able to get him on a changeup. Struck him out once and got the broken back ground ball to end the inning on the changeup.
Yeah, fires into some rhythm here for the Brewers this afternoon. Something they've all been looking for. And he's had a good first 3 innings. He walked 2 in the first, but struck out 3 to get out of trouble. 0-2 to Maldonado. Arrieta, after giving up 2 runs in the first, likewise in the second, put the Brewers down in order in the third. You see Mike Fiers off to a nice start. Two balls, 2 strikes. And Martin stays in there.
And Maldonado started all but 1 game behind home plate since Jonathan Lucroy went on the disabled list, and continues to be solid defensively. Still looking to get that bat going.
Well, Lucroy continues to try to get healed.
Talk to him today. He's actually swinging the bat.
Yeah.
And can do everything but run.
And Maldonado with his second hit of the afternoon.
It looked a lot like the first one, didn't it?
Sure did.
A little jam shot into center field. The benefit of making contact. You give yourself a chance.
That's exactly what Maldonado has done. Not line drives, but in the box score, looks just the same.
Arrieta missed his spot. Supposed to be on the outside corner, ended up in the middle part of the plate, and Maldonado fists it into center.
Hector Gomez to left field. To Norfia the catch. 1 away. Arrieta has given up more runs in this game than he has in each of his previous 3 starts, or previous 4 starts. Brewers getting to him early.
You got to keep it going, though.
Yes, they do. There's Mike Fiers. A sack bunt in the second.
Keep adding on.
And that breeze has backed off some, but what wind there is, it's still kicking out. And Fiers fouls off the bunt attempt, and he's down 0-2. Brewers with 6 hits this afternoon. Cubs looking for their first. Then shortens up, and now hung up is Maldonado, and they have him in a rundown. Castro applies the tag. Well, Brewers come in and out on the bases. They've been aggressive in a good way early. But a mistake there, and Maldonado is out.
Been a lot of mistakes on the bases for the Brewers so far this season. There's another one. And trying to get a big lead, secondary lead, trying to get a little bit extra. I'm not sure where he's going. He just keeps going towards second base, and he's an easy out. Too many throws for the Cubs, but finally tag him out.
caught stealing. 2-6-4-6. 2-2 to Fiers. And that is strike 3 called. I'm on a fastball, and that'll do it for the Brewers. And we're through 3.5, 4-0 Milwaukee. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. By Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. And by UP and Abraham. 1-800-800-5678. UP and Abraham. Tell them you mean business. Still 4-0. Brewers lead the Cubs. Home half of the 4th inning. Team Maldonado started the frame with a single, but then got hung up. Mike Fiers trying to bunt him over. It turned into a caught stealing. Fiers through the first 3 has walked 2. That's been it so far. Set down the last 8 Cub hitters. He'll face Rizzo, Bryant, and Montero. Bottom of the 4th. Fiers looking to be that pitcher he was for such a good chunk of last year. Going to struggle in his first 4 starts. The deepest he has gone is 5 2/3. So far, so good this afternoon. Rizzo, one of the 2 walks the Cubs hitters have been able to work. Cubs enter today 2.5 games behind St. Louis in the Central. Cardinals now have won their last 4 games. And for hot teams right now, you look, of all people, the Houston Astros. They have won 8 in a row. And here in early May, they have opened up a 5-game lead in the American League West.
Well, they've gotten some good pitching so far this year. Very surprising, the Astros in that very tough American League West division.
Yeah, the Angels a game under 500. Mariners 3 under. Strike 3 called as Mike Fiers gets his 6th punch out of the game. 1 out here in the 4th.
Anthony Rizzo can't believe it. He worked him in, then went away. Rizzo thought it was low. Might have been, but a little too close to take.
Here's Bryant. He struck out in the first. Fiers struck out 5 of the first 6 outs he recorded here this afternoon. A ball is strike to the Cubs third baseman. We talked a lot about the Cubs pitching, and the Brewers have turned in some good work. Peralta yesterday, and a nice start for Fiers this afternoon. The 1-2 to Bryant, and he goes down swinging. Number 7 for Fiers, 2 outs.
Hey, reminder that next week is the Brewers' annual 5-county 5-day celebration. 5-county residents save 50% on tickets Monday through Friday as the Brewers play host to the Dodgers and these Cubs. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or visit brewers.com/5county.
Miguel Montero. First pitch swinging, a ground ball to Herrera. And another 1-2-3 inning. Fiers now has set down 11 straight, and we are through 4-0 Milwaukee.
Lead as we head to the 5th, and fans, when you're at Miller Park, you can keep an eye out for the 50/50 sellers and their bright orange t-shirts. You can purchase a $2 raffle ticket in support of the community. The odds are favorable. You could take home 50% of the day's ticket sales, and the other 50% will support health, education, recreation, and basic needs. Together, we can make a difference in this community, and you can play the Brewers Community Foundation 50/50 raffle presented by Northwestern Mutual. And Gomi leading off this 5th inning here. Talked to him before the game about returning to the lineup. He said physically he feels great, ready to go, and said he was so excited to get back onto the field today that he actually had a hard time sleeping last night. He said it's just kind of a weird, anxious feeling, but said he's excited to be back. And about leading off today, he said he doesn't matter where he is in the lineup. He says there's so many ways I want to be able to help this team to win. With my energy, my speed, playing every day, he said obviously the most important part right now is just staying healthy.
Yeah, and let's hope that's the case, Sophia, that he can stay healthy and he's back for good.
Looked pretty healthy when he was on base, stealing a couple.
Yes, he did. Grabbed second and third. Challenging the combo of Arrieta and Miguel Montero. Just checking in to make room for Gomez. The Brewers designated Luis Jimenez for assignment.
And the Brewers are going to have to make another roster move on Tuesday when Scooter Gennett returns.
Gomez with a fly ball back into center field. Dexter Fowler tracking it and near the wall runs it down. Out number 1.
And deepest part of the ballpark out there. Gomez gave that one a pretty good ride. Tried to get it up in that wind and Dexter Fowler with his great speed, able to go back and make the catch right in front of the brown ivy.
Yeah, they're going to need a few more days like this.
A few spatterings of green leaves out there, but it looks good in the summer, not so much right now.
Yeah, they're looking for a stretch of days just like today to green that up a little bit. Not quite that summertime look. Segura singled twice. No balls, 2 strikes to the Milwaukee shortstop. Renicky talking with reporters about Jimenez before the game. It was a tough spot. I mean, Jimenez had good numbers last year in AAA. Salt Lake showed power, but the at-bats limited, the role being different for him. Only had 15 at-bats. There's a little chopper toward third. Chris Bryant, no play.
And another hit for Segura, so he's breaking out of it. 3 for 3 so far today.
And that's hit number 7 for the Brewers.
Yeah, Jimenez, what, only 2 starts, right?
Right.
I think the fact that Hector Gomez got off to such a good start put Jimenez on the bench quite a bit. And you bring up Ilian Herrera, the switch hitter that the Brewers like.
Here's our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. This was the first inning. Ryan Braun takes Jake Arrieta over the wall in center. 5th long ball of the year for Ryan Braun, and that got the Brewers on the board in a hurry.
Coming in bunches for Brawny.
With a deep fly to left in the second.
They just got out on the end on a curveball from Arrieta.
One out, Segura, the runner at first. Braun now with 12 RBIs. Mentioned he had that terrific series. He just played well against the Reds, period, but a 2-homer game on Wednesday afternoon, including the grand slam that broke it open. A rough afternoon yesterday for Braun, but he had a lot of company in that department, but showing signs that he could be heating up.
And I think everybody knows it, and I know Ryan Braun realized the fact that when he hits, the Brewers have a pretty good chance to win. And they hate to lay that on a guy, but that's just the way it is. I mean, Ryan Braun is the guy in this lineup, and when he's hitting home runs, getting on base, Brewers are able to score runs.
And he has said that. Said he has to shoulder a lot of the responsibility for this team's struggles in the first month.
And that comes with those big contracts.
It does.
He doesn't shy away from it, that's for sure.
A ball and 2 strikes. And Segura stole a base in the second inning. Checks his swing, does Braun. Brewers have stolen 3 here this afternoon, 2 from Gomez and 1 from Segura.
I'm not sure you want to take over Braun at the plate. Did last time, though.
And Arrieta is a little leery right now, or at least very aware that Segura could be on the run. See how Renicky wants to play this. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Segura is going, and Braun fouls it back.
Really is amazing how shallow Dexter Fowler is with Ryan Braun up the plate. I mean, the power that Braun has. About as shallow as you'll see any center fielder with Ryan hitting. He goes back so well, but boy, those gaps are huge when the center fielder is that shallow.
Segura off the bag at first. And again, the 2-2 with Segura on the move. And he's getting in some wind sprints.
Yeah, took a false step. Arrieta could have picked him off, but decided to go home, and because of that, Segura had a pretty good jump.
And in the meantime, a good battle going on between Arrieta and Ryan Braun. Brewers with 2 runs in the first, 2 in the second, trying to get something going in the 5th. And that is strike 3 called.
Yeah, dropped the hook on him that time. He gave him everything he had, finally saved that curveball and got him on the inside corner.
Let's take a look at the T-Mobile game changer. And this is what Adam Lind has been doing of late. The last 9 games hitting better than 400, showing that power.
Yep, came up yesterday in the top of the 9th with a man at second and grounded out to second base. Well, I thought he was going to get a hit yesterday to tie it up.
Yep.
And Jason Rogers doubled with 2 outs. Schaefer pinch ran, and Adam Lind, who did not start the game, came up as a pinch hitter.
Yeah, ground ball ended that game. Well pitched on both sides.
Man, good pitching, good defense. That's why you get a 1-0 game.
Lind's average right now at .325 as Segura bluffs as though he'll steal. Pitch fouled away. Nothing in 2 to Adam Lind. Walked in the first. Ground ball to second in the 3rd. And down on strikes is Adam Lind. So back-to-back strikeouts here in the inning from Jake Arrieta. And we are halfway through with the Brewers leading 4-0. 4-0. Brewers lead the Cubs here in the 5th.
Hey, on Monday, the Brewers kick off their 10-game homestand by honoring the Badger men's basketball team on their incredible run in the NCAA tournament. You can join the festivities with $15 field outfield tickets by visiting brewers.com/VIP and entering the code Bucky.
Bucky.
You know any of those guys?
No.
That are coming in?
Bo who? Former shortstop?
It's going to be fun.
That'll be good. Good to see those guys. I haven't seen them in a few weeks. Starlin Castro leading off the home half of the 5th. That was a great year. Had a lot of really special seasons. This one going all the way to the title game that went down to the final couple of minutes.
A little payback for the Kentucky Wildcats.
Yeah, that was
nice.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to have a little fun at the expense of some Kentucky fans. This road trip started in Cincinnati. A lot of UK fans there in the area.
You did. You had a good time with them, didn't you?
I did. Tried to be classy. I wasn't, but I tried to be.
You don't have to be, though.
It wasn't a great effort either. It was good. Mike Fiers continues to enjoy success at Wrigley Field. Mentioned that game, a 14 strikeout effort last August. His last couple of starts at Wrigley hasn't given up any runs. He's punched out 21. He's given up nothing so far today.
It's been basically all fastballs today. He's thrown a couple of change-ups. And that's the pitch right there, that fastball that the Cubs just can't figure out.
And another strikeout for Mike Fiers. If you're just checking us out, here's what Fiers has done to the Cubs so far this afternoon. En route to his 8 strikeouts, including 5 of the first 6 outs he recorded.
He struck out the side in the first. He walked a couple, struck out 3. 8 strikeouts already. Is that what you have?
That's what I have. Here we are in inning number 5. It was 14 he had. He needed just 6 innings. Chris Denorfia. 12 straight Cubs hitters have been retired. Only 2 to reach, period, were via walks, Soler and Rizzo. Two balls, 1 strike. Denorfia out in left field this afternoon. And there's the first hit of the day for Chicago, the left center field. So after 12 straight were sent down, Denorfia ends that stretch. And that's the first hit given up by Fiers.
Yep, a 2-1 pitch, fastball out over the plate. Denorfia, a good contact hitter. Doesn't strike out a whole lot. He did strike out in the second inning. Out over the plate, up in the zone, and you can see the point of contact right on the sweet spot. And the Cubs going to the bench already.
Yeah, they're going to go to Wellington Castillo.
Wow.
So Joe Madden not messing around.
In typical fashion, Rick Kranitz going out to have a chat with his pitcher and catcher to go over the scouting report on Castillo. The Brewers have seen plenty of him over the course of his career.
This will turn into the shortest outing of the year for Jake Arrieta, only 5 innings. So Wellington Castillo, a pinch hitting role, and he is 2 for 6 in that role this season. Curve downstairs.
No, Arrieta was at 90 pitches through 5 innings, so I guess Joe Madden figuring he's got his first hit, maybe try to get something going here in the 5th inning. The leash was going to be rather short anyway for Arrieta going forward.
Castillo 1 for 4 in his matchups with Fires. He's ahead, 2 balls, no strikes. Cubs did threaten in the first. 2 of the first 3 reached on walks. Look at Jason Mott getting ready in the Cubs bullpen. The Brewers are aware that the Cubs are aggressive on the bases. Morphia does not have a steal yet this season. He's been caught at one time. The Cubs are second in the National League in stolen bases going into today's play with 25.
Not necessarily a running situation, down by 4 runs.
No, wouldn't think. We're in the 5th.
Good to keep him close though, but don't forget about the guy at the plate. He's got a 2-0 count.
I guess you just go back to Madden, the Cubs manager, who may do anything at any time. His first year at the helm here in Chicago after a very good run with the Rays. Here's the 2-0 to Castillo. Fires had been cruising along, and now a 1-out single from D'Onofrio. Castillo ahead, 3 balls, no strikes. Addison Russell waiting on deck. And the count is full.
You see it at 89 miles an hour, right down the middle on a 3-1 pitch, and Castillo behind it. The Cubs are having a difficult time picking up that baseball. Fires a guy that hides it pretty well when he turns his back, and been sneaky fast today.
3-2 pitch coming. Castillo last year appeared in 110 games. Average was down 237. He did homer 13 times. One of 3 catchers on this 25-man roster. Miguel Montero, David Ross, the other 2, and those 2 have been getting most of the time. Strike 3 called. Number 9 today for Fires.
Yep, a changeup. Second time he's been able to get a strikeout on a changeup. That's a gutsy pitch by Mike Fires, up by 4 runs. And right at the bottom of the strike zone, home plate umpire Ryan Blakeney has liked that low strike, and right at the knees.
Huge punch out there. Here's Addison Russell.
Down in the count 3-0, and he came back again. That's some good work.
Rung him up on the changeup. Now the 1-strike pitch to Addison Russell. We are seeing more of the Fires today that Brewers and their fans saw last year in that second stint when Fires started 10 times and had quality outings in 8 of them. Looking to get his first quality start of the year this afternoon. Still has work to get there, though. You're just in the 5th. Fires continues to keep a close eye on D'Onofrio over at first. Did he hold up? No, he did not, said Eric Cooper. 1-2 the count. Joe Madden has seen his team get all of one hit to this point. And here comes the 1-2. Russell yesterday provided the only run of the game. His first big league homer was in the 3rd inning yesterday afternoon off Willie Peralta. Again, the 1-2 coming. And there's a base hit to left center. Denorfia will stop at second. And the Cubs have runners at first and second as the lineup turns to the top for Jorge Soler.
Yeah, right off the end of the bat, dumps one out there into the gap, and Chris Day was able to get there before Denorfia can get to third base. But now the top of the order coming up. Well, that cut fastball just stayed in the middle part of the plate. Addison Russell able to get it right off the end and dump it into the outfield.
Soler has walked. He is lined to left. First 2 hits of the day for the Cubs coming in this 5th inning. Fires ahead 0-2. Maldonado took another foul tip there, I believe.
Yeah, right off the knee.
Cardinals, you'll feel that a little bit, huh?
Yeah.
2-strike pitch. Soler hitting at the top of the order today.
It doesn't hurt nearly as much when you have 2 hits already. Molly 2 for 2. That's how he didn't even feel that. He's feeling good today.
So that's all right. And Soler trying to grind out some at bats. So a lot of pitches his first 2 trips. We won't see quite so many this time around as he strikes out, as Fiers gets 3 more via the punch out here in the 5th. Brewers continue with a 4-0 lead. Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. And by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. Move to the 6th. Brewers on top of the Cubs, 4-0. New pitcher now for Chicago is the former Cardinal, Jason Mott, on the mound.
Yeah, joins the Cubs after 9 seasons with the Cardinals. Missed the first month of 2014 last year as a member of the St. Louis Cardinals, recovering from Tommy John surgery. Made his season debut a year ago on May 21st. And working here in the 6th inning. Former closer for the Cardinals. This guy used to be able to rush it up there in the upper 90s.
As a matter of fact, led the National League in saves back in 2012 with 42. Davis looking for his first hit this afternoon. As the Cubs go to their bullpen. Brewers able to get to Jake Arrieta with a couple of runs in each of the first 2 innings. Davis will be followed by Herrera and Maldonado.
Yeah, Mott basically a 2-pitch pitch. He'll throw a slider and a fastball. 94 miles an hour these days, coming off of Tommy John surgery.
Now trying to bolster that Cubs bullpen as he's in relief of Arrieta, who went just 5.
There's 97 miles an hour. He's still got it.
Still does. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Having a tough time keeping that chain inside his jersey.
2-2. He's still battling that, isn't he?
Needs some weight on it. That's what he needs.
Every pitch he has to get himself reorganized. Herrera waiting on deck. Brewers would love to tack on some more runs here. In control. Mike Fiers has been terrific. He has struck out 10. Cubs getting their first 2 hits of the game in the 5th inning. But still a long way to go. 3-2 pitch. Davis worked him for a walk.
Yep, able to lay off that high fastball. That's what you have to do against guys that throw hard. Really don't have much of a chance. An 8-pitch at bat for Chris Davis.
So the Brewers get their leadoff man on for the 3rd time this afternoon. And here's Elian Herrera. Herrera getting his 7th start over at second here this afternoon.
If need be, he can play short. And so can Hector Gomez.
Versatility really serving both of them well. Seen it with Herrera. He can play all over, including the outfield.
He made some starts last year in the outfield.
Runner on the move as Herrera fouls it back.
That was a good jump that time by Davis. And Mott takes a while to get rid of it. That high leg kick, doesn't really pay much attention to the runners on the bases. The former closer. That's somewhat characteristic of closers. You can run on them.
Can. And the Brewers are in a running mode here this afternoon. Especially at the very top of the order with Gomez and Segura. Gomez with a couple of stolen bases. And 1 for Gene Segura. Another throw that way.
You see where Mott sets up on that pitching rubber, almost, not even touching it, just the toe touching the very end of it, the end that's closest to first base.
Davis holds. And it's a ball, 2 strikes to Elian Herrera. Teams will see a lot of each other here in the next week. Cubs come to Miller Park next weekend. Tomorrow will end the string of games against the Central Division for the Brewers. This game 21 this afternoon of a 22-game stretch against division rivals. Mott continues to keep a close check of Davis, who a year ago stole 4 bases. Just the 4, but was on the move on a foul ball earlier in this at bat for Herrera. And Herrera extends the at bat. Another pitch.
All fastballs from Jason Mott so far.
Brewers offense been pretty quiet since the 2nd inning. Herrera trying to heat it up here in inning number 6. Brewers were retired in order in the 3rd. Maldonado reached on a single to center, but then was hung up. Technically caught stealing, got caught in a rundown. Segura had an infield hit in the 5th.
A lot of foul balls in this inning from Jason Mott.
And Herrera goes down swinging. There's out number 1 here in the 6th. Small team Maldonado. Pretty good day at the plate.
Brewers have taken advantage of some jam shots today. Maldonado, the beneficiary of a couple, got in on his hands, but able to dump them both into center field. Brewers also scored a run on a jam shot in the right by Carlos Gomez.
At the plate, presented by Wendy's. Yeah, that single in the 2nd started what turned out to be a 2-run inning for the Crew. Brewers trying to even up this series after the Cubs took the opener yesterday afternoon. Good pitching yesterday and some pretty good pitching here today, especially from Mike Fiers through the first 5. Oh, and 1 the count to Martin Maldonado. And Davis bluffs as though he's going to go, and again holds up. 1-1 the count.
Yeah, Brewers know those statistics of these Cubs catchers having a difficult time throwing out base runners. Not that it's always the catcher's fault, but it really doesn't matter. I mean, the stats are what they are, and Chris Davis on a couple of occasions has tried to run. Brewers are ready with 3 stolen bases.
Yeah, Cubs catchers have thrown out just 1 attempted base stealer, and that was Ross. David Ross, who threw out the runner. It's been it.
Yeah, 1 for what, 20-something, right?
Yes. 2-1 pitch. High fly ball. Left field. And that's DeNorfia. Battle that sun a little bit. 2 outs in the 6th. So Davis remains at first. Here's Hector Gomez.
This will be an interesting battle right here. Gomez likes the fastball, and he is very aggressive. Mott leaves one out over the plate. He might get a pretty good swing on one.
Gomez has driven in 4. here this season. This afternoon looking for his first hit. Struck out in the second. Hit a fly ball to left in the fourth. Chris Davis led off the inning with a walk. Herrera struck out. Maldonado a fly to left. Healthy cut. Look at that. 98 from Mott.
Yeah, up there is really very difficult to get a piece of that pitch. Got to lay off that high heat.
Very tempting and generally unhittable.
Looks good, but tough to hit.
A ball, a strike to Hector Gomez. Jason Mott showing his arm is fine. Two balls, two strikes. Mott ended up appearing in 29 games last year for the Cardinals. At a .468 earned run average.
And more in middle relief, trying to come back from that Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, they've got Trevor Rosenthal to handle the closing job over there in St. Louis. 2-2 the count. Another high fly ball. And calling for it is Dexter Fowler. And that's it for the Brewers in the sixth. The leadoff walk, but nothing else. Bottom of the sixth, 4-0 Milwaukee. Fires very effective so far today. Earlier we had our Carsoup.com trivia question. Who are the only 4 Brewers pitchers in franchise history with 14 strikeouts in a single game? We're looking at one of them. There are the others. Pretty good list for Fires to be included.
Yeah. I remember that Ben Sheets game. 18 punch outs. Got the Atlanta Braves.
By the way, Fires has 10 strikeouts this afternoon. The last visiting pitcher, trivia nugget for you, another nugget for you here. The last visiting pitcher to come into Wrigley Field and post double-digit strikeouts in consecutive starts. Fires has done it. Giovanni Gallardo did it as well back in 2010, 2011. Logan Schaefer now in the game for the Brewers out in center. So Carlos Gomez, his first game back. It's 3 at-bats. There's a strikeout of Fowler to begin the 6th.
And another one. Wow. Well, you just hope that Carlos, they're just easing him in a little bit. And you get Schaefer in there to finish it out. After 2 weeks off, you figure you let him play 6 innings and then sit him down.
They looked fine.
He was running pretty well.
He was.
Just more or less concerned about the fatigue factor first day back.
You got a very good defensive player out there in Logan Schaefer, so why not? That's how you want to play it. Get him back in there, and as we said before with Gomez, you want him back. You want him back for good.
Yeah, right. I just hope that's the case.
Yes. Yeah. We are hoping they're just easing him back in terms of the playing time. Anthony Rizzo, hot smash, center field, back goes Schaefer, and it's gone. Anthony Rizzo gets the Cubs on the board.
Well, the young man can hit, that's for sure. He stands right on top of home plate, and when you do that, you better be able to handle the inside corner. We've seen him whistle balls down that right field line, and this time watch him pull the hands in, pitch out over the plate, and drives it out of here on a line over the basket in center field.
And that ends what was a 16-inning scoreless streak for Fiers here at Wrigley. 4-1 ball game now in Chicago. Chris Bryant, the hitter. He has struck out twice so far today. Average now below 300. He has yet to go deep. The young player, we've talked about the patience that he has shown.
Having a difficult time. Yeah, having a difficult time laying off that high fastball from Fiers. All the Cubs having a tough time laying off that pitch.
Struck him out. Third time tonight. Bryant out on strikes.
Yeah, normally a good fastball hitter, but he just can't pick it up. In 3 pitches, and that's it. All above the belt from Mike Fiers. Actually 4 pitches. Yep, everything upstairs. On a 1-2 count, he gets him.
12 strikeouts now for Fiers. Here's Miguel Montero. Did he hold up? They say he did. Tom Woodring, the umpire, over at third. 1-1 the count. Pitch count inching close to 100 now for Fiers.
And he leads off the 7th. This might be it for him.
He has pitched very well this afternoon, trying to finish off this 6th inning. Drops one in there for strike 2 called. The deepest he had gone before today was 5 2/3 at St. Louis. Gave up a couple of runs. 2-2 pitch. Hot smash. Right there is Herrera. Inning over. Cubs get on the board on an Anthony Rizzo home run, but Mike Fiers turning in another good outing in Chicago. He's turning in a splendid performance today. Our Marchfield Clinic shining moment of the game is we talked a lot about how effective he was and has been here at Wrigley Field. More of the same today, Rock. 12 strikeouts and just the 1 run allowed.
Yeah, I tell you, 3 hits and 2 of them coming in the 5th inning, and then the home run by Anthony Rizzo. I mean, getting a lot of mileage out of that high fastball and doing pretty much to the Cubs what he has done throughout his career here at Wrigley Field. 12 punch outs, 2 walks, both of those walks coming in the 1st inning.
And on the mound for the Cubs, we checked with the Cubs people on this, and it's actually pronounced German. Gonzalez German. Okay. You hear others say Herman.
I'll go with that.
So our guy Gonzalez is on the mound here for the Cubbies.
Claimed off of waivers by the Cubs from the Texas Rangers on January 23rd. Came up on the 19th of April. You see that big earned run average. Gave up 4 runs in 1 relief outing on the 29th.
Gerardo Parra pinch hitting here in the 7th. Parra had a couple of hits yesterday, putting a bunt single in the 4th. Brewers had just 4 hits. Parra had 2. Jason Rogers the other 2. Four runs on 7 hits for the Brewers, a run on 3 for the Cubs. Both teams have played errorless baseball. Two-0 pitch. Parra, part of that good defensive effort on the part of the Brewers yesterday. Threw out Dexter Fowler trying to go 1st to 3rd on a Soler single in the 1st inning. We've seen Parra again turn in very good work, and that's of course a big part of his game. Gold gloves and what he can do out there in the outfield.
Yeah. Barehanded one in center field and throw him out at 3rd. You don't see that very often. You don't see many barehand pickups in the outfield. But he had to do it to be quick. Got his man at 3rd base.
The 2-2 pitch. Parra stays alive.
We are told that German has a very good changeup. Low to mid 90s fastball. Excellent changeup. He's thrown 2 in a row to Gerardo Parra.
Jeremy Jeffress getting loose for the Brewers. Saw him yesterday. And that is a fair ball down the line. Parra will turn first. Soler runs it down. It's a stand-up double for Gerardo Parra.
Well, he continues to swing the bat well. Able to tuck one inside that first baseline on a 2-strike pitch. A full count. Fastball in, and he rips it just inside the bag and down into the corner. There's a good start to the 7th inning. Now the top of the order coming up. Ron Rennick might want to get that run back. You might see Schaefer try to bunt. Get him over to 3rd base.
He shows that sign. There's a throw to 2nd with no one covering, but Castro behind the bag. Montero trying to keep Parra close. Logan Schaefer coming in the bottom of the 6th inning, in place of Carlos Gomez. And the 1-0. Schaefer lays one down. Montero will play it. Well done. Parra to 3rd. Good work by Logan Schaefer.
Well, if you don't feel as though you can hit a ground ball to the right side, you drop down a bunt. He did it beautifully.
Now batting the shortstop, Gene Segura.
Let's take a look at what Gene Segura has done this afternoon, and he's done quite a bit actually. A couple of base hits in innings 1 and 2. Into the 5th inning, reached on an infield hit.
3 for 3, a run scored, a run driven in, and a stolen base.
Cubs infield is in. Segura not at all bothered by moving down a notch in the batting order. Today's return of Carlos Gomez. RBI opportunity now. One so far, looking for another. Gonzalez German on the mound for the Cubs. Last couple of years with the Mets, 25 appearances last year, 29 the year before. A fastball away, 1-1.
You never know. Rennie might drop down a squeeze here. You never know what he's thinking. He'd like to get that run back. Brewers have been pretty good in limited opportunities with runners in scoring position.
Here comes Parra, and Segura trying to lay it down, and it's a foul ball.
A tough pitch to bunt, but he got a piece of it. That's what you want to do. If you can't drop down the bunt in fair territory, you got to get a piece of it. Well, that runner coming to home plate is an easy out. Tough pitch to bunt. But he gets another swing. That ball nearly hit the ground.
Yeah. Did well to get a piece of it. A ball, 2 strikes. And there's a fly ball to center. On the run is Fowler. He's going to have to chase it all the way to the bricks. As Parra scores, Segura around second, on his way to third with a triple. 4-for-4 day for Gene Segura.
Well, the young man comes through after not being able to execute the bunt. He did a great job just to foul it off to keep Parra at third base, and then drives one into the gap in right center. Boy, that's a big hit right there, and now the Brewers have a chance to extend the lead with a man at third and Ryan Braun coming up. We talked about Dexter Fowler playing shallow today. This time it backfires on him, and Segura able to get into third base.
And that's your Badger Mutual Insurance run of the game. Increases the Brewers lead back to 4. A 5-run game here at Wrigley Field, and they're going to intentionally walk Ryan Braun.
Brewers now 3 for 4 with runners in scoring position.
And the Cubs have no interest in messing around with Braun, who had a 2-run homer open up the scoring today. He was back in the first inning.
Well, that you set up the double play with Adam Lind coming up. Well, how about Gene Segura just driving that baseball into right center? And that's something he wasn't able to do all year last year because he was drifting to the baseball, not staying back. He's just a completely different hitter.
We talked about he'd had a couple 3 games where he was an offer, as all players will go through, and snaps out of it in a big way this afternoon. Joe Madden on his way to the mound. Pitching change in Chicago with the Brewers leading the Cubs 5-1. Brewers looking for more here in the top of the 7th inning. Phil Koch on the mound now for Chicago.
Well, you see that ERA at 7.50. He allowed 2 runs on 3 hits in an inning in relief on April 29th. That'll blow up an earned run average. Spent 5 years with the Tigers after starting his career with the Yankees.
62 appearances for the Tigers last year. Here's Adam Lind. Dean Segura, big RBI triple here in the inning. Now Lind trying to pick him up. Take a look at the Brewers home run leaders presented by Powerball. Ryan Braun with number 5 today in the first inning. See Adam Lind right behind him. Ramos Ramirez, I hope, will be back in the lineup tomorrow. Holding him out today. Little hamstring tweak happened in the series in Cincinnati. 0-2 to Adam Lind.
Yeah, Coach made a pretty good living retiring left-handed batters. He's tough on them.
Two strikes and nothing to Lind. Down goes Adam Lind.
You see that arm angle makes it very difficult. Kind of steps a little bit toward the first base dugout, throws across his body, making it tough for those lefties to stay in there, and put that one right on the outside corner. You see the delivery. There's a slider, and see Lind way out in front, well located on the corner.
In his career, Koch, lefties hit about 246 against him. Or they're not about, they're right at 246. It's about 60 points lower than what right-handers hit against him. Chris Davis 0 for 2 with a walk. A walk coming his last trip in the 6th inning. Koch 5-2 with the Tigers last year. Out of the bullpen, a 388 earned run average.
Let's see if Braun tries to steal here. A little bit more difficult to get a good jump on a lefty. Maybe try to steal a run.
There's Segura over at third. And there's Braun off the bag at first. Big cut. Davis does not get it. 1-1. Brewers jumped out to a 4-0 lead, getting 2 runs in the first, 2 more in the second. Anthony Rizzo a homer in the 6th for Chicago, but the Brewers get that run right back.
And nice to pick this one up.
Yes, it would. No sense stopping now. The 1-1.
Every time Koch lifts that leg, Ryan Braun's heading back to first base, so don't expect Braun to try and steal a base. Just can't figure out that move.
Koch, the 4th pitcher on the mound this afternoon for the Cubs. And Davis takes a strike. 2-2.
That's what you call your one-way lead. You take a lead, your first move is back to first because you can't figure it out.
And the last thing they need is to make a mistake on the bases and help out the Cubs here. 2-2 pitch. There's a ground ball. Diving stop. Castro. What a play. They get the force at second. Castro saves a run. But the Brewers get a run, and the lead is back to 4 for the Crew.
Through Sunday in the weekend series that features 50% off tickets for Friday night's opener, a fan flag giveaway on Saturday, and a special Mother's Day Hank bobblehead on Sunday. For tickets, visit Brewers.com today.
All right, Gerardo Parra pitch hit in the last inning. He stays in the game. He'll be out in left for the Brewers. The day is done for Mike Fiers, so on the mound now is Jeremy Jeffress for Milwaukee.
Yeah, 14th appearance for Jeremy Jeffress. He leads the league in appearances out of the bullpen, now with 14, a 3.09 earned run average. We saw Jeffress throw an inning in yesterday's game.
And Starlin Castro, who made the impressive play, leads off the 7th for the Cubbies.
Yeah, he's something. He can make some spectacular plays, but then he'll let one roll right up his arm on a routine grounder.
Nothing in 2 with Starlin Castro. It's Jeremy Jeffress right back to work here for the Brewers. Saw him yesterday, saw him Wednesday in the series finale in Cincinnati. Brewers were off on Thursday. There's a bouncing ball to short. Segura on to Lind for the first out.
Always important to get that leadoff batter. Brewers have done a very good job of that today. The only time they did not was the leadoff walk to Soler to start the game in the first.
There's Chris Denorfia. Denorfia had the first hit of the day for the Cubs. That came in the 5th inning with 1 out.
Well, how good was Mike Fiers today? Well, there's something about that fastball that the Cubs just can't figure out. I mean, he threw a lot of fastballs. Only a handful of off-speed pitches, maybe 1 or 2 curveballs. They're just one after the other up in the strike zone, and they just couldn't figure it out.
So inviting to hitters, right, when it's upstairs and when it's there and they can't catch up to it.
Ordinarily, when you're throwing 90 to 91, I mean, you don't want to be up in the strike zone like that, but he gets away with it.
He does.
Especially against this group.
He is, we talked about that 14 strikeout performance in 6 innings last year. Well, he fans 12 today in 6. 2 balls, 1 strike to Denorfia. It's quite a stat just sent along to us here Fires with his 12 punch-outs today. There have been 3 opposing pitchers that have come into Wrigley Field and have struck out at least a dozen in back-to-back efforts. Fires, Jim Maloney, and Sandy Koufax.
Wow. That's been a while then, hadn't it?
Koufax actually had 3 straight. So Fires has work to do next time around.
First time since what, the mid-60s?
Yeah, Maloney 65, 66. Koufax 61, 62. DeNorfie draws a walk. One out, one on here for Jeffress. Here's Chris Coughlin getting an opportunity this afternoon. That's what he did yesterday. Line up in left field. Well, the Brewers got the bats going early. They put up a big run in the top of the 7th inning. That's where we stand, a 5-1 game. Only Cubs run, courtesy of an Anthony Rizzo homer in the 6th. Mid-90s fastball.
Yeah, mid-90s fastball with big run on it. He's got some sink on it when he gets on top, and that sweeping breaking pitch. Sometimes his pitches move a little bit too much. Has a difficult time finding the strike zone. He's walked 6 so far this year.
Again, bringing the heat. These two teams wrap up the series tomorrow afternoon. And the Brewers head back to Milwaukee to start a 10-game homestand. Here comes the 2-1. Not messing around with Chris Coughlin here.
Just that big fastball with the good tail at the end. Will Smith getting loose down in that Brewers bullpen just in case there's trouble here in this inning. Probably getting ready for Fowler and Rizzo.
Two and two the count. Strike 3 call.
And Coughlin knew it. Right, that is an unhittable pitch right there,
yes,
Matty.
It is.
Sorry about that.
Nope. No, you're on it.
I mean, right at the knees, right on the corner, and Chris Coughlin, the only thing he could do was hope that it wasn't called a strike, because you're not doing anything with that pitch. I mean, that is what they call the Hall of Fame Express right there.
That is nasty. Strikeout number 13 for Brewers pitching. Fires at the first 12. Addison Russell. He has one of the 3 Cubs hits today. That being a 5th inning single. 2 singles and a home run. That's what the Cubs have on offense so far. Jeffress with the 1-0. So carry into the seats. Pittsburgh and St. Louis hooked up in a pitcher's duel. Busch Stadium 1-1 in the 9th inning. It's John Lackey and Francisco Liriano, starters in that game. Cardinals have won 4 straight. Reds play the Braves in Atlanta tonight. That's in there. Curve for a strike. Now the 1-2. Struck him out swinging. So Jeffress gives up a walk, but that was it. In the 7th, and we are through 7 with the Brewers leading the Cubs 5-1. Proud to team up with AYSO, the world's largest soccer club. Go to ayso.org/play to find your region and sign up for your fall team today. On the mound now for the Cubs is Edwin Jackson, former starter, now out of the bullpen.
Now you see his numbers so far. I'm sure that Edwin Jackson not too happy about being in the bullpen, but he signed a long-term contract a couple of years ago. The Cubs still have a couple of years left on it. 6 strikeouts in 7 appearances. I should say 7 innings so far for Jackson. Went 6-15 last year as a starter and a .633. So probably why he's in the bullpen.
Yeah, which followed the 8-18 in 2013. So yeah, the big contract, and it has not worked out the way the Cubs thought it would. So his role changes. Elian Herrera here in the 8th inning. There's a fly ball to center, and it's routine for Dexter Fowler. 1 out.
Jackson's been with a few teams in his career.
Yeah, the Dodgers.
Moved around quite a bit. Thrown a no-hitter.
He's an all-star for the Tigers back in 2009. A year with the Diamondbacks, coupled with the White Sox. Martin Maldonado at the plate. Part of a trade near the deadline in 2011 to the Cardinals. All right, he has been in several organizations, part of that Cardinals team that won the World Series. Actually appeared in a game, started a game against the Rangers in that World Series.
8th different team he's been with.
Yeah. 0-2 the count to Martin Maldonado. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Little bouncer. That's Castro. That's out number 2. Now to this point, the wind that we had talked about that was kicking out towards center field has backed off. Not quite the scoring fest to this point of the game that we thought it would be, but it's been good. Of the 6 runs scored, the Brewers have 5 of them. Did the damage earlier, most of it, 2 in the first and 2 in the second. Here's Hector Gomez. Gomez a strikeout and 2 fly balls, 1 to left and 1 to center. He gets the start at third. Ramos Ramirez, if you're just joining us, not in the lineup again. They're just trying to take the cautious route with his hamstring. Could very well be back in the lineup tomorrow.
Yeah, just want to make sure that it's not going to get any worse. So you give him an extra day on this end as opposed to running him out there and having him completely rip that hamstring. The same hamstring you had a problem with last year.
A ball, 2 strikes. And that will end the inning. So Edwin Jackson retires the Brewers in order. We move to the bottom of the 8th. Still 5-1 Brewers. Been a good day here for the Milwaukee Brewers. Ryan Braun got it started with that 2-run shot in the first inning. 5-1 the score here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And now the second inning of work coming up for Jeremy Jeffress.
Well, he may get 1, maybe 2 hitters. You got Anthony Rizzo coming up third. Now, Fowler a switch hitter, but the splits for him this year are pretty even. We'll see what Ron Renneke elects to do. It's all going to come down to pitch counts for Jeffress, who pitched yesterday.
Yeah, Will Smith had been getting loose. Soler leads off here for Chicago. Jeffress in the 7th inning walked Chris D'Onofrio, but that was it. 2 strikeouts and a ground ball. Soler walked in the first. He has since lined out and struck out. Mike Fiers struck out 12. Jeffress added 2 to that total in the 7th. Fastball has him behind, 3-1. There's Fowler waiting on deck. there's a base hit to center, and that's how the 8th begins for the Cubs.
Yeah, 3-1, and Soler waiting for that fastball, got jammed, but muscles it into center field. Well, the last thing you want to do is walk the leadoff batter. Jeffers did not do that, but Soler got a pitch to hit.
And here comes Ron Renicky, and the pitching change coming up as he is going to turn to Will Smith. There's the Brewers with a 4-run lead as we're getting late now at Wrigley Field. And we will continue as Will Smith gets ready. 5-1 Crew as we continue from Chicago. Man on for Chicago. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Milwaukee Brewers and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Milwaukee Brewers LLC. Will Smith now on the mound for the Crew.
Yeah, 11th appearance for Smith, a .245 earned run average. Last pitched on Wednesday, and the Brewers win at Cincinnati. Got a big strikeout of Joey Votto in the 7th to strand an inherited base runner. It was a 1-run game at the time.
That was a huge moment, and the Brewers were able to break it open in the 8th inning. So now Smith facing Dexter Fowler, switch hitter. Well, actually in his career has hit lefties better than he has the right-handed pitchers.
Well, Ron Renicky very comfortable with Smith retiring right-handers, and Jeremy Jeffers allowed the leadoff batter to reach. So Smith is in for at least 2. Got Jonathan Broxton getting loose in that bullpen.
There's a fly ball to right. Ryan Braun is there.
Bad son, huh?
Yeah, he had to fight it, but he was able to do just that and make the catch.
I'll tell you, that was pretty close at first.
Yeah, he guns one back to first.
My goodness, Soler very nonchalant getting back to first, almost got doubled off. Brony fighting that sun, able to get a good angle on it. And Soler just kind of moseying back to first base. Pretty close.
Well, Braun showed off that arm yesterday. Cut down Starlin Castro trying to go first to third on a single. And Braun just about caught Soler. Anthony Rizzo. He has been responsible for the Cubs' 1 run today.
Hitting .429 against left-handed pitching.
Strike to Rizzo. And you see his splits.
Yeah, you take away his power at least, right?
Yeah. Otherwise, it's not supposed to work that way. in theory. 2 balls, 1 strike. Rizzo with that home run in the 6th. He gives him 3 on the year. Two balls, 1 strike. Very high pop up. Segura is going to battle the sun. 2 men out here in the 8th.
A big out right there, getting that guy out. And on a 2-1 pitch at that, Rizzo had the count in his favor. They popped it up.
Smith able to retire Rizzo, and now Chris Bryant steps in. It's been a rough day at the plate for the highly regarded young prospect Chris Bryant. 3 at bats, 3 strikeouts. Brewers pitchers have struck out 14. Jeffress punched out 2 in the 7th inning. A terrific performance again from Fiers. And the Brewers getting to Jake Arrieta. A 1-strike pitch. Soler led off this inning with a single to center. A fly ball and a pop-up since. Smith trying to finish off this 8th inning.
That's where you want that slider with 2 strikes. Perfectly located, but Bryant able to lay off.
Here's the 1-2. Mentioned the Brewers with the 14 strikeouts. It matches a season high. Two balls, 2 strikes. Cubs with just the 4 hits.
I figure Smith has got Bryant, and he got Montero in the on-deck circle. And just in case Joe Madden goes to the bench, he's got Broxton ready down in the bullpen.
Smith trying to end this inning right here and now with the 2-2. Struck him out. 4th time today. Bryant has fanned. And impressive work again turned in by Will Smith. We're through 8. 5-1 Milwaukee.
Hotel and Casino. Book your stay now. All right, back at Wrigley Field, getting ready for Brewers Live. Brewers a nice lead right now as we go to the top of the 9th inning. We're getting set for Brewers Live postgame. Jerry and I here, and I've twisted Jerry's arm. He really wanted to talk about Gene Segura's 4-hit game, but I convinced him that Mike Fiers was definitely the key.
Yeah. Well, you talk about Mike Fiers say what he had to do today, command the off-speed stuff, and he did that early in the game. Just missing, walked a few guys in first inning, but then got it, and his fastball from then on really dictated the rest of the game for him. Gave us that good quality start that we really needed.
Isn't Jerry's sense of humor something, guys?
I hope you guys have sunscreen down there.
Oh, yeah, we've got sunscreen down here, all right.
Hey,
it's like 80 degrees down here today. It's beautiful.
Beautiful day at the ballpark. And you don't see him sweat.
Augie loves talking about pitching.
Oh, yeah.
See, we leave that for Augie. I mean, we talk about the other stuff, and Augie just gets all worked up over the good pitching.
Yeah, a lot to be excited about today with what Fiers has done.
Not a better guy to talk about it, though.
Oh, yeah.
Leave it to the expert.
Gerardo Parra came off the bench, doubled in the 7th inning. And that is a fair ball handled by Rizzo, who flips to Edwin Jackson for out number 1. And we weren't sure, even though we knew that Fiers had pitched very well in this ballpark and has again today. Thought this was the kind of day where we'd see a lot of runs on the board.
Yeah, it's not exactly like it's the same Cub team either. It's a different group altogether, pretty much.
Yeah. Logan Schaefer.
Something about the surroundings here, that pitcher's mound, that Mike Fiers seems to put his best foot forward.
Trying to up his career record against the Cubs to 3-1 and 3-0. In this ballpark.
And allowing only 2 runs.
16 scoreless innings.
Yeah.
Carlos Gomez started. And then Schaefer came in the 7th inning. There's a bouncing ball to short. That's Castro charging. And the throw, unable to dig it out, is Rizzo. And Schaefer will get to second. And turning second, Rizzo not alert. And Schaefer will round third on a wide throw. And Schaefer goes all the way around to score.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
All right, talk about lackadaisical defense. We talked about Starlin Castro. He can make some spectacular plays, but then he will just airmail one like that, and then Rizzo fell asleep. 2 errors on the play. Error on Castro, error on Rizzo, throwing the ball to third with nobody there.
And Logan Schaefer just kept on running.
About as routine as it gets. Anthony Rizzo can't dig it out, and he just gives up on the play. Like Logan Schaefer's going to stay at second. Nobody at third. He throws it anyway, and I'll tell you, it's you never know what you're going to see. I mean, that wasn't that bad of a throw. Rizzo should have had the short hop. Now watch what he does. He just kind of gets it, forgets about it. I'm not sure what he's doing.
Yeah, I'm not sure. The only thing I could think of, and I'm not sure why he would, he thought it was dead, but the ball was in play. Obviously.
That's just falling asleep on the job is what it is.
And the Brewers will take it. And now it's a 5-run lead for Milwaukee. So errors on Castro and Rizzo.
And then you throw it out looking, nobody over there.
Here's Segura, who has enjoyed a 4-for-4 day. He entered the game with a .270 average. A fly ball that will carry into the seats. Oh, a wild play, and Logan Schaefer was able to keep on running. Here's Jackson with the 1-2, and Segura is retired for the first time today as he strikes out. Let's go back to that 2-error play. First thing, Rizzo was going to flip the ball into the stands.
He's playing dodgeball, and Logan Schaefer runs into the umpire, almost hits Ed Cedar.
Logan able to circle the bases in an unusual way. Here's Ryan Braun. That's what you're talking about, Rock.
Yeah, check it out. Here's the umpire. Ed Cedar avoids contact. They called it safe because had he run into Eddie, would have been out. But hey, he ran into the umpire first. Runs into the umpire, who then forced him into almost hitting Ed Cedar. But the umpire's in play. I guess a cross check into Ed Cedar is legal.
You can do that. Eddie able to avoid a collision there, get out of some of that traffic. 0-2 to Ryan Braun. And Braun strikes out swinging. 2 outs here, or make it 3 in the ninth. Parra bounced out. Punch outs from Segura and Braun. And the Brewers lead by 5. To 1 now. Logan Schaefer taking an unusual tour around the bases. Here's a look at what's on tap, presented by Miller Lite. Tomorrow, the series finale, Jimmy Nelson and Jason Hamill, your matchup. And we'll get things started at 12:30 right here on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
Yeah, Hamill has similar numbers against the Brewers as Mike Fiers has had against the Cubs here at Wrigley.
Yeah, Hamill has not lost.
He has been very good against Milwaukee.
Francisco Rodriguez looking to finish off the Cubs here this afternoon.
Yeah, been a while for K-Rod. Last pitched on Sunday against the Cardinals and picked up his 3rd save of the year. A 3-up, 3-down ninth. Appearance number 8.
Miguel Montero will lead off. Well, the Brewers putting another run on the board. Coming out of the break, Logan Schaefer, the different kind of tour, little league home run type of play. 2 errors charged on the play to the Cubs, 1 to Starlin Castro and the other to Anthony Rizzo. And Montero a base hit to center to begin the ninth for the Cubs.
You just never know in this ballpark. We've seen some crazy things against the Cubs over the years. And these are ordinarily the times that closers have a difficult time in a non-save situation. K-Rod with a 5-run lead. Can't take anything for granted the way things have gone for the Brew Crew so far this year.
Not at all. Starlin Castro. It's popped out. He was struck out and he hit a ground ball to short. Anthony Rizzo home run in the 6th. That is all the Cubs have manufactured so far today. In the 1st, the Cubs had 2 on with 1 out, both via walks. The Fires was able to strike out Chris Bryant and Montero to win the inning. Cubs had a couple of hits in the 5th. They have not really been able to mount a lot in the way of threats at all today. K-Rod with the 1-1. Out in front is Castro.
That's that change up, and a lot of times pitchers, when they haven't been out on the mound all that much, it's been almost a week for Frankie. Some have a difficult time in locating that pitch.
Here's the 1-2. If the Brewers can close this out, it'll be 2 of 3. They have yet to win consecutive games, but they won the series finale in Cincinnati. Little steps. Ron Roenicke has watched his team get to Jake Arrieta the way no other team has in this first month of the season. Had a terrific performance from Mike Fiers. And now looking for Rodriguez to finish this one off. Here's the 1-2. Struck him out. The 16th Cub to strike out today.
And most of them coming on the high fastball. K-Rod able to get him up in the zone and swings right through it. And you just never know what you're going to get from K-Rod. This time goes to the heater, straight as a string, up around the belt, and the big swing. Starlin Castro swings and misses.
Now he'll face Chris Denorfia. He produced the first hit of the day for the Cubs back in the 5th inning. Also walked and struck out. Two balls, no strikes to Denorfia. Junior Lake, bat in hand, moves into the on-deck circle for the Cubbies. That's in there, a strike, 2-1. Pirates and Cardinals in extra innings, bottom of the 10th, tied at 1. Caught the outside corner, 2-2.
And this is where the patented Rodriguez changeup comes into play. Even the count with a fastball. Let's see what he does.
Ready with the 2-2. There it was, but missed. Well, Rodriguez trying to continue what has been a Cubs trend of scuffling today with runners on. They are just 1 for 12 and have struck out 9 times. Montero, the runner at first. Full count now to Kristen Orfia. Struck him out swinging on the change, and that's the 17th strikeout of Cubs hitters today.
Yeah, 3-2 pitch. You almost knew it was coming, but I just never know. That 90 fastball that goes with a changeup. It's just such a wide range of speeds by K-Rod, and that's some good movement going down as it gets to home plate. Combination of pulling the string and the good movement as it gets to home plate. That's what makes that pitch so tough.
Junior Lake now on to pinch hit. As the Brewers an out away from evening this series. Curve in there, a strike. He began the season at AAA, did Lake.
Some thought he was going to be a sure thing in the outfield for the Cubs, but didn't work out for him. All kinds of power, but very similar to Jorge Soler. He can swing and miss quite a bit.
And just called back up to the big club on Monday. 1-1 the count. And the Brewers now a strike away. Well, we've seen the Brewers get the running game going. Renicky has had a terrific pitching performance from his starter Mike Fiers. And now Rodriguez trying to finish it. Montero started the inning with a single to center, and then back-to-back strikeouts. Starlin Castro and Kristen Orfia. The 1-2. Now he'll try to finish it. The 2-2. And he does finish it. Punch out, punch out, punch out. And the Brewers even the series, striking out 18 Cubs in the process. Well, they get some early power. Ryan Braun, a 2-run homer in the first. The Brewers put 2 more on the board in the second, getting the running game going. Mike Fiers and company just terrific. Jeffress Smith and K-Rod coming out of the bullpen.
Outstanding work by the guys on the mound, and Brewers showing some life offensively, and all started with Ryan Braun's home run in the first inning. Now time to get something going for this club.
All right, 2 out of 3 now for the Brewers, and they'll try to win the series tomorrow. These teams meet again at Wrigley Field. Brewers a winner today, and let's send it down to Craig Kashawn and Jerry Augustine standing by with Brewers Live postgame.
All right, Matt, thanks very much. We're going to talk about Jerry's favorite subject, pitching today. You mentioned the 18 strikeouts. Fiers was on fire again. He has owned the Cubs here in their home ballpark. We'll hear from him and Ron Renicky coming up next.
Any of my special chairs. You grab that.